Hey everyone, this is Blue Eyes Master 91, and today I thought I would do an Attic Nister deck, so let's dive right on in. So, for this deck, you need 3 copies of Attic Nister Picari. Picari is a monster that can search out an AI spell or trap, so you can search out your field spell, which is the key to the deck entirely. And then his secondary effect is that if you control another Attic Nister, its level can become 4 until the end of the turn. So he also allows you to go into your Light Dragon Attic Nister. So he's really, really useful. Next, we have 3 Achichi Attic Nister, the Fire attribute. When this one is normal or special summon, you can add a level 4 or lower Attic Nister from your deck to your hand, except Achichi. At the start of the damage tab, when your Cyberse monster battles, you can banish this card from your graveyard to destroy that monster you control. You can only use each effect once a turn. So Achichi is a monster search, and then he is used to trigger the effect of your Fire Phoenix Attic Nister, which I'll be able to get into more details on here in a moment. Next, I run 3 copies of Doyon Attic Nister. Most people have this at 1 or 2, but I run him at 3 just because he is extremely useful, and with so many cards that can banish from field or grave running around right now, it's good to have a spare. When he is normal summoned or special summoned, you can target an Attic Nister in the grave, add it to your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard as linked material, for a Cyberse monster, you can target an AI spell or trap in the graveyard and add it to your hand. You can only use each once per turn, so he is your recycler. He is an extremely useful monster. Next, I have 2 copies of our Bururu Attic Nister, the tuner of the deck. When Buru is normal summoned or special summoned, you can send an Attic Nister monster from your deck into the graveyard. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a synchro summon of a Cyberse monster, you can target one monster in your graveyard that was used for that synchro summon except Buru. Special summon that monster. You can only use each once per turn, so he is the main tuner monster of the deck, as well as a monster recoverer, as well as he allows you to special summon out one of the other monsters used for the synchro summon. And the bonus of that is he doesn't negate their effects, so if you haven't used an Attic Nister's effect yet, you can use it right when it's summoned, resummoned via Buru's effect. Next we have Gushier Attic Nister. This is just a big beat stick in the deck. I honestly can't say I've used him very much, but his effect is when a Link monster is destroyed by a battle, you can special summon this card from your hand. When your Link monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to that destroys monster's original attack. When an attack is declared involving a Link monster you control and an opponent's monster, you can banish this card from the graveyard. The attack of those monsters become 3,000. So, and then you can only use each of these effects once per turn. So with Guzier, or however you actually pronounce the name, he is a free special summon, and then he is able to equalize the attack points of monsters that are battling. So he's actually pretty useful. I do like running him in the deck. I just haven't had a chance to summon him yet. Next we have Gotchiri Attic Nister, which is a 3k defensive wall. His effect is the first time each Cyberse monster you control would be destroyed by a card effect. Each turn it is not destroyed. You can only use each of the following effects of Gotchi and Attic Nister once per turn. You can target one Cyberse effect monster you control, negate its effects, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target one face-up monster you control. That target is unaffected by your opponent's monster or opponent's card effects until the end of your opponent's turn. So he's pretty useful. I like the 3000 defense, and I also like how he is an earth attribute, so that does help a lot with getting into the bigger beater. So next we have one copy of Hiari Attic Nister, the water attribute. I only have her in because I wanted the extra attribute, since aside from Splash Mage in the extra deck, I don't have a water attribute in the main deck. So she's just really useful to have. Her effect is if you control an Attic Nister, you can special summon this card from your hand. So right there, if you already have something on the field, you can special summon her without using the field spells effect. So the rest of the effect is you contribute one other Cyverse monster, add one level 5 or higher Attic Nister monster from your deck to your hand, and if you do, this card becomes level 4 until the end of this turn. So she would allow you to also more easily go into your Xyz plays. Then if you attributed a Link monster to activate this effect, you can add AI Ritual from your deck to your hand. So if I were running the Ritual monster, she'd be extremely useful in getting into that Water Leviathan Ritual monster that the Attic Nisters have. Next I have Doshin Attic Nister, another Earth attribute. And he, like Hiari, is able to special summon himself when you have another Attic Nister on the field without using the effect of your field spell. So that's a really, really useful effect. You can target one Cyberse Link monster in your graveyard, return it to the extra deck, and if you do, add AI Love Fusion from your deck to your hand. You can only use each of the effects once per turn. So I do not run the Fusion spell either, so I can only really use the first effect, and that's perfectly fine with me because the first effect is the only reason it's in the deck right now as it is. Before he and Hiori were both in my side deck. Then I have one Damari Attic Nister. He is an interesting monster. He's a negation, or a interruption rather. When an attack is declared involving your Attic Nister monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, negate that attack. While you control a Link 6 monster, quick effect, you can banish this card from your field or graveyard, then target one face-up card your opponent controls, negate its effect until the end of this turn. You're going to use each of the effects once per turn, so he's a really good negation as well as interruption to stop an attack to go through. The next couple cards are just hand traps I run in the deck, which are a single copy of Droll and Lockbird, 2 Ash, and a single copy of Effect Veiler. So that is it for our monsters. Let's dive into the spells and the traps. So for spells, I have 2 copies of the field spell Attic Nister Island. It's the bread and butter of the deck. It allows you to special summon as long as you don't have anything in your main monster zone. So you can special summon any level 4 lower Attic Nister monsters. Next I have 3 copies of Cynet Mining. This is just one of the searches in the deck to help you get into your other plays. It's extremely useful in the deck. Then I have 3 copies of AI Meet You. This is a special summoning card in the deck. You reveal a Cyverse monster with 2300 attack in your hand or extra deck. And then you add an Attic Nister monster with the same attribute from your main deck to your hand. During the end phase of this turn, take 2300 points of damage if you did not summon the revealed monster or a monster with the same name. After resolve this effect, you can not activate monster effects for the rest of this turn after this card resolves, except Cyverse monsters. You can only activate this once a turn. So it's really useful in forcing you to go into your extra deck to get into your Light Phoenix, or Light Dragon, Fire Phoenix, the Wind Pegasus, stuff like that is extremely useful. I have 2 copies of Reborn, which is just a monster reborn in the deck. It's a quick play spell card. What Idle Reborn does is you target an Attic Nister in your graveyard, special summon it. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn after this card resolves except Cyverse. When an attack is declared involving 2 monsters, you can banish this card from your graveyard and 1 card from your hand, then target 1 AI spell or trap card that is banished or in your graveyard, except Idle Reborn. Add that card to your hand. You can only use each of the effects of this card once a turn. So it lets you revive monsters to go into different plays. It's a very, very useful and fun card to have. I have a single copy of AI Contact, which if you have an if Ignister AI Island is in your field zone, reveal Ignister AI Island in your hand, place it on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, draw 3 cards. And you can only use this card once a turn. So basically it allows you to, if you have Ignister Island already on the field, it allows you to get rid of the second copy if it's in your hand to draw 3 cards. Next, we have some more generic cards. We have a copy of Called by the Grave. It's good to get rid of stuff. We have our back row destruction in the form of Feather Duster. We have a Raigeki to get rid of boards on your opponent's field. We have 1 Burial from the different dimension, which is in only because of all the banishing spell and traps running around right now. We have a single copy of Dark Ruler No More. I do have a second copy in my side deck, and that's just to take care of monsters with troubling and annoying effects. And then finally we have a single copy of Pot of Avarice, so that you can reset your deck, so to speak, by returning 5 monsters and drawing 2. So that is it on these spells. Let's dive into our traps, and we do have a couple. So for traps, we have 2 copies of the new trap card, AI Show. What AI Show does is, while you control a link 3 or higher Attic Nister monster in the extra monster zone, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, special summon from the extra deck any number of non-link Cyverse monsters with 2300 attack whose combined attack is less than or equal to the attacking monster's attack. Then end the battle phase. So it's a really good way to get out your other Cyverse Attic Nister monsters. It also allows you to end the battle phase right then and there, so you can go into different plays. Next, we have a single copy of Mind Crush. Mind Crush is just a really, really useful, versatile card right now, and I've had no issue calling what's in my opponent's hand. So it's really, really useful. Then we have a single copy of Solemn Warning. Again, this is the card that's running rampant right now, so I don't really want to get into too much detail on it. But that is it on the main deck. Let's get into the extra deck. So first we have the Arrival. This is a standard card in the deck. No real explanation should be needed. We have Wind Pegasus, Light Dragon, Fire Phoenix, all of which are probably not needed to be commented on. They're all standard in the deck. We have a single copy of Dark Templar, which allows you to revive stuff when anything is summoned by its link, which is really, really useful. We have a single copy of Dark Fluid, another standard, which is extremely useful because of how high his attack strength can go. I do run a single copy of the original Firewall Dragon just because this is a Cyverse deck, and the special summoning effect for a Cyverse monster is extremely useful. I do have Access Code Talker to do access code things. We have a copy of Transcode, which is just another Earth attribute, and it's pretty useful. Cyverse Wit Kid. We have a copy of Update Jammer, which is another more standard card. Splash Mage is another standard-ish card. Then we have a single copy of Ling Karibo, which is another standard, and then 2 Dark Infants to help with the Templar's effect. So that is it for the Attic Nister deck. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video.